case you missed it last week, here's a look back at exactly what happened on Graveyard Carz. Marty Feldman, Young Frankenstein. Always wanted to do that.
Last time, Mark gave us the grand tour of a 1970 burnt orange Challenger RT SE and revealed the fully restored 1970 plum crazy Challenger RT. This time, work ramps up on our 1970 Tribute Superbird. And just when things couldn't get more stressful, a 1968 GTX owned by none other than Chris Jacobs of Overhaulin fame, to be restored in time for SEMA, 60 days away.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
The unburied dead are coming back to life.
I'm Mark Warman, and together we bring dead muscle cars back to life, to exactly the way they were on the day they were born.
This station will remain on the air.
Right now I'm working on the 70 Superbird Tribute car. I'm getting ready to install the quarter glass. There's some difficulty, usually installing the quarter glass. Of course, whenever you drop the mechanism down into that channel, you got to be really careful not to scratch the paint. I try to put it in with the regulator and the actual pot metal frame for the quarter glass all in one assembly. It makes it a lot easier because a lot of the snap clips that you actually have to install are really tough to get your hands in that really confined area to install those clips. So the more I can build outside the car and still install inside the car without causing any damage, the easier it is for me. So once I get that main part of that assembly in there, then I go ahead and bolt up my regulator, and then I go ahead and set my slides and my rollers and everything in place, and then start making my adjustments. These are actually all original parts that were taken out of a 70 Dodge Cornet, which is really cool. So I was actually able to gut that car and reuse all those existing pieces, recondition them, restore them, and put them into this car. So it's all original equipment, and it was in beautiful condition. Now that I got all the quarter glass installed in the car and all the mechanisms and everything, I'm just about ready for Larry to come down and install the headliner in this car.
One of our good clients with a 70 Cuda, if you recall, it's the Cuda that we had the sabotaged engine on, came to me recently and asked if I'd help him sell his car. He's getting ready to move to the Philippines. His wife originally is from there, so they're going to relocate there, and there's no reason to have a 70 Cuda there, I guess. So I put it out there, spread the word a little bit with some of the people in the know, and it didn't take long for a client overseas to say, yes, I'll take that car. This will probably be the very first Graveyard Carz overseas. So congratulations to the owner. Gonna have a lot of fun with it. What a great little car though. It turned out so nice. I mean, it needed a lot of work. That car had every panel you can imagine done to it. Had the roof interstructure, the quarters, rails, frame, floors, just about every panel done to it. But the guys did a good job. I'm learning a lot about the overseas market. Apparently Mopar's is one of the most collectible cars over there. I think part of it is they're the coolest cars on the planet. I've always said that, right? But also the fact that they didn't have many exported over there. I suppose some of them showed up if you were in the service maybe and you were stationed over there. One might have got exported over there, here and there. I've seen some metric versions of the Rally instrument cluster, which is really cool. It's in kilometers. So if you ever get a chance to take a look at one of those online, that's a really neat, that's a rare part right there. But this one was born and bred in the USA. It just happens to be going abroad for a very nice client. Go Rooster, go Rooster. I call him the Rooster because he used to be red like a rooster. He had red hair. He's not a rooster anymore, but I still call him the Rooster. Looking good, Roost! And the only thing I thought about later on this particular car is, remember, Chrysler puts the Pentastar on only one side, what we call the curb side. You're walking down the road, car's parked up against the curb, you look at the right-hand fender down low, there it is, there's your Pentastar. Now it's going overseas, where they drive on the wrong side of the road. So they're gonna have to take the Pentastar off, move it over to the driver's, to be correct for the area, and move it over to the driver's fender. Kind of a little piece of trivia there for you. This is what goes on up in here on a daily basis. Rooster and me used to do drinking together. A lot of drinking back in the 70s and 80s. It just explains sometimes you see that silly grin on his face. You know, Cousin Duct Tape, Cousin Dougie has gained a little bit of weight over the years. If you look at his pictures when he was like 16, it was like a toothpick walking around you, and then just splintered in the middle for the legs. Hey, the Rooster getting out, the Rooster getting out. Now it's a little different game. He's 56, 57 years old, so getting out of that car is a little more challenging.
Mark?
Yo! No.
Yeah, I need an overhead lift now.
Okay. Plus the fact that it's a done car. So you can't just stomp your foot in the middle of the seat or kick your foot over the top of the door or Dukes of Hazzard style. You actually got to be careful about it. But he did get out. It just took him a little while. Probably would have took me a lot longer. Okay, I got a noose inside. I could lift you out by your head if you want.
That'll work.
You know there's a little more room on the right side. Yeah, good luck in there, bro.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best in there.
Why aren't you in there helping?
I'm fat. I can't get in there. Why don't you go in there, Blubber? Where are we gonna get? No, I ain't doing that.
Come on.
You can't do that, you foolish bastard.
Come on.
Hang on, Mary. Hang on.
Can you help me, Mark?
I got her.
All right, thank you.
I got her, buddy.
Thank you, cousin.
I got her. Okay. That's as far as I can get in. That's it. That's the big one.
Larry's coming down to do the headliner. Headliner is very difficult to install. Larry's been doing it a lot of years, so he makes it look super easy. I myself have installed some in the past, and I'll tell you, hands up, they're very difficult to put in. It's actually easy to put all your bows in, hang the headliner, glue it in, but then it's all wrinkled, it's got seams in it, creases in it, and everything else. What you can do at home, which we do here, is I always lay out the headliner for a few days, sometimes a week, before we actually install it. And what it does is I lay it on the roof of the car, you know, pending that it has a vinyl top, and it just lays out. And with the heat in the shop and everything else, it just kind of lays that vinyl down. So the more creases you can actually take out of that vinyl, the easier it is to stretch them and to take those creases and seams out when you're installing it. And it's just tedious work. I mean, it comes with installation instructions that basically says, throw your bows in, you know, put all your pad in, throw your bows in, start at the front and work yourself to the back. But I'll tell you, Larry makes it look easy. It's tedious, time consuming, but you can do it at home and do a great job if you're willing to put in the time and the effort.
Graveyard Carz is getting to be like a turnstile now, right? One car leaves, one comes in. I'm just saying goodbye to the 70 Cuda. I look up and here comes Reliable Carriers with another car. One to take the place of the one that's going away. I'm excited to work on this car. It's for a friend of mine. I don't usually get to work on friends' vehicles, but this 68 GTX belongs to Chris Jacobs. Mr. Chris Too Tall for his own good Jacobs, like 9 feet tall. Also the host of Overhaulin and Barrett Jackson Auctions, long lost family. It's a pretty big star, you know.
We just got Chris's GTX here. I helped Mark get the whole thing unloaded. I haven't looked at it too much. I know it's caught on fire. It looks like most of the damage was underneath the hood. We'll see when we get the hood off. But seems to be a good looking car. Inside's nice, outside looks good, but all in all, it looks like a good car.
You know, so while it's flattering that so many people say that we perform these miracles, we don't perform miracles. I'm just a guy. There's nothing celestial about me. I'm just a guy living in Springfield, Oregon, who's living out his dream. I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like the rest of the team, and we just happen to be very, very good at what we do. So, no magic here, folks.
Stay tuned. Dave begins the final assembly on our tribute Superbird. Chris Jacobs stops by the shop and visits the graveyard. And later, Mark and the Ghouls dissect Chris's GTX and assess the damage to Chris Jacobs' car.
Jacobs?
Hey,
got the
there he
sunglasses
is.
on? Of course you do, bro. How you doing, man?
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you. How was the flight?
It was easy breezy.
Chris Jacobs, and I've been with the Discovery and Velocity family for about 14 or 15 years now. I'm up here at Graveyard Carz because Mark, of course, is the Mopar guru, and I want him to do some work on my 68 GTX, and I'm also a big fan of Graveyard Carz, the TV show, so I figured bring him my car. Who better to do it for me?
You know, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I was a little bit starstruck and that a little bit surreal having Chris Jacobs out. I mean, he spent so many years on the show with Chip FOOSE, a talented guy, right? Mopar lover, and like I say, I've met him many times, but when it comes to your abode, you become much more humble. And I'm pretty thrilled and I'm pretty flattered that he chose us to do the work on his car.
Look at that,
There's
she
your
is.
baby, it's back. I told you it got here safe yesterday.
So good to see you again.
Yeah.
I've had my 68 GTX for about, I'd say probably 17 years. I bought it from one of my best friends. Once I had done overhauling for a few years, you know, I thought that I would like to have a FOOSE paint job on the GTX. So we brought it down to Mitch Lanzini's shop. Chip put his fade on it, did the graphics. Mitch shot the black. We put it back together, and that's pretty much what you're seeing here. It looks pretty good for the trauma that it's been through recently. About a year and a half ago, I unfortunately had an engine fire, and it pretty much destroyed the carbs. It destroyed all the rubber in the engine, all the plastic. Fortunately, the paint was not damaged. It didn't harm the fenders at all. It's the thing I was most concerned of. So yeah, you can see that all the fire damage is mainly contained to the fiberglass hood. Luckily, my detailer was with me the day that the fire happened, and he was standing there with a 100-gallon compressed water tank and just completely put the fire out.
That's all the white, crusty stuff? I guess.
Well, and then we also hit it with a ton of extinguishers too.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean
Well, that could have been a lot worse because really, I mean, I see rubber that's not even melted.
Yeah, the carbs are fried. You know, the overflow bottle's fried. Looks like the radiator hose is definitely damaged, but...
You know, it's actually very fortunate there's not going to be a lot of body and paint work. I mean, really, it was kind of compartmentalized to under the hood. It damaged the hood, but we're going to be changing that out anyway. So yeah, it could have been a lot worse, but the overall, not very much body and paint.
I turned lemons into lemonade, and I said, all right.
It's what we do as
We
car
can
guys.
either spend a lot of time and money and effort trying to rebuild this tired old 440.
Which isn't the numbers. Let's get
Which
that
it's
clear.
not numbers
To the
matching.
purists
This
out
came
there,
out of a
that's not the
70
original.
New Yorker.
Okay, so it's not even an HP block.
Not exactly.
There's no
exactly.
loss
There's
here.
no
Okay.
there's no qualms about pulling that thing
Good.
out and starting fresh. And then when I saw your Cuda at SEMA last year, and that beautiful conversion, 392 conversion that you did, that immediately, almost immediately popped into my mind. Like, that's
what a
what
great
this
candidate
car
for it, right?
deserves. Exactly, exactly.
It needs to come out to be detailed anyway and
Yep.
painted and stuff like
Yep.
that. And I know you got some tricks you're going to do, but I think that's a great. I'm in love with that. That car runs and drives beautiful. It's nimble. It's lightweight. It actually weighs 500 pounds less with a 392 Hemi in it than it did with a 440
That's
in it.
awesome. So Mark, I know that one of the things we kind of touched on when we talked on the phone was what we were going to do with the hood, if we wanted to go with a fiberglass liftoff hood again or go back to a more traditional hinged hood.
When I originally talked to Chris, I told him I wasn't a fan of the 6-pack hood on a 68, couldn't even come on it, and it shouldn't have come on a 69 unless it was a 69 and a half A12 car. So I said, listen, I'm willing to do some things. We'll get together with Mopar, we'll get the 392, we'll do all that trick stuff, but I need that car to look a little bit more like an original 1968 GTX. Well, you know me, right? So
you want to go traditional, of course,
yeah.
and I think that would be great too, especially because if the car is going to be displayed at SEMA in the Mopar booth, you know, we don't want to have to continually lift the hood off and put it back on.
For a lack of many other reasons, yeah, I agree with that
So
completely.
I
For
think,
practicality,
yeah.
you're going to have people wanting to see in there all the time.
Yeah.
And he had no problem with that. He has no objection, which is a good thing for me, because frankly, I'm not sure I would have wanted to put the 6-pack hood back on it. In the time frame we got to get this thing ready.
Right.
Certainly the main thing is the drivetrain and make sure it's a good solid car for you. We got a ton of things going on around Graveyard Carz, but the fact is when Chris came and said what the actual end goal for the car was, that it was for such a great cause, I mean, it's what we do. We should pay it forward.
What my plan for the GTX is at the Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale 2019 auction. This car is going to roll across the auction block with the proceeds going to the Special Operations Warrior Foundation.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
And they ensure that the families of fallen warriors are taken care of, that their kids go to school. So I think it's gonna have a very happy ending.
I love it.
When you guys are done with this car.
So the plan is, once we do the paint work under the hood, so all the body work, the welding up, the replacement of the apron, all that stuff's done, we finish it off with a base coat, clear coat black, because the car's black. Then with that clean canvas, so to speak, Chris is gonna have his friend Mike, the airbrush artist, I think he was even on some of the Overhaulin shows, come up and do some really cool homage type painting to the car. So that's gonna be neat to meet him. I have heard a lot about him, so it'll be fortunate for me because I actually have my little dead wagon, the 64 Dodge A100, that I'm gonna want some really cool airbrush work on, so might be able to network a little bit there.
I gotta tell you, Mark, I'm a fan of the show, obviously, so it's really cool to be here in the Graveyard Carz garage, but I'm a junkyard junkie, so what I really wanna see is the graveyard outside.
You wanna see the real live graveyard. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's over 100 of them out there. Wing cars, hemi cars, 6-pack cars. You sure you wanna go out there?
I'm positive.
You got your wallet?
No.
It's not a requirement, but I'll bring a pin and an IOU.
Just put it on my bill.
Let's do it, let's go. In 1970, when the Plymouth Barracuda and the Dodge Challenger came out, they both featured flush-mounted side marker lights, very cool option. They got rid of the flush mount and went to a surface mount in later years. What was the last year for the flush side marker lamp? Was it 1971, 1972, 1974? The answer coming up right after the break. Okay, ghouls, what is your answer? What was the very last year that the cool flush-mounted side marker lights appeared on our Barracuda and our Challengers? If you guessed, hopefully it wasn't a guess and you knew, 1971, well, you're right. 72, they went to a surface-mounted side marker, a hideous-looking thing, horrible. It sticks off the panel, it didn't look like it belonged there, but the thing for Chrysler was they now could take that same side marker light and use it on the Challenger and the Barracuda, save some production costs, I would assume. The problem is, those cars after 71 began going downhill in styling cues, and that was just one of many changes they made that I definitely don't feel was for the best. You couldn't get the GTX anymore, but you could get it as an option package on the Runner.
Exactly.
So there's one that's just really cool. Get a 440 with an air grabber and a 4-speed. I mean, my gosh, what a neat machine that would be.
That front end just
you love it, huh?
captures me.
I love it. That's great. Very affordable.
And that's a 71?
That's a 1, yeah. Yeah,
That's kind of what
I've seen
what I got my eye on too. You know, because like, you know, of course we talk about the AAR Cuda, and I would love to have one day, but you know,
it's
100 priced out, exactly. But a 71 Roadrunner is certainly well within.
I guarantee you could end up in that real
Here's
good.
a Daytona.
Yep, here's a beautiful original, all original paint. Survivor Daytona. Well, it's not it's a Survivor, meaning it needs restored, but it's still pretty.
But it's, I mean, original paint. They're only original once.
They are. Look at the interior.
We're to the point in the build on the 70 Superbird Tribute car where we're actually able to put the wing on. Really excited to actually see the wing on the car. Totally makes the car, you know, besides the nose. And so I went and grabbed Ryan from the body shop.
All right, man. I'll feed it while you
balance her. He pre-fit the wing and everything when he was actually doing all the body work on the car. So he's got a particular way that he wants it installed, and we're gonna put it on and put it on right and see how it looks.
Yeah, this is all new to me. I haven't done one of these yet, so.
Okay, I got it.
All right.
If you just got one snug, it'll hold. Now we can do the. Okay.
Okay, and you remember this thing goes curved down, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Goes this way.
All right. So.
Which is the glue?
Does it matter which side?
Your side.
You want sharp end or fat end?
See the swoop here?
Oh, gotcha. Yep. For those people that didn't think this wing was adjustable, it is adjustable.
Some people think that the wing on the Superbird and the Daytonas were adjustable, and some say they weren't. I actually called Tony and asked him this question here a while back, and the wings are just like the NASCAR versions where they actually are adjustable. There's a big Allen bolt in there that you actually loosen and the wing will pivot.
You could pivot this thing whatever way you want it, create more downforce.
And once you pivot it to where you want, you can actually lock it down. So it'll pivot either way. It's got a pretty good full motion in it. It's got all the extra framework built into the actual trunk to support the actual wing. So the wing's not just sitting on the quarter panels, it's actually got a whole frame unit built in that's welded to the trunk extensions that stiffens that wing. So this thing was basically built for speed and built for downforce and built for strength. Now the only difference that Tony told me between the NASCAR versions and the actual production versions is a cable. So if something were to break apart, it would keep those pieces from flying all over the place. There was actually a cable holding all those pieces together.
You go ahead and run that one, just snug it because it's adjustable. We get them up flush, then we'll know we're good.
Now here's something very interesting, and you know, if you're a true Dukes of Hazzard nut, you'll know that the General Lee was a 69 and this is a 68.
Oh, yeah, somebody did this one. Well, the one we just finished last season,
yeah,
that was a 70 that the guy had built for the movie, and it just changed out the side markers and the grill and the tail lights to make. Most of those cars were not 69s.
No.
They were represented to be a 69, but the model years just they changed the grills, they changed the side markers, they changed things out to make it look like it.
And wreck them.
Oh, an hour, there you go.
Man, well, I can't tell you how cool it is to be out here and check this out.
I'm glad
in
you had
person.
a chance to
really,
get up here
really cool.
and do it. It's fun to have you here. I know you get to see a lot of shops and a lot of cool stuff, so.
TV Mark is a little bit different from personal Mark, but not that much different. So, you know, we kind of had an instant connection because we both kind of play goofballs on TV. But we're both, you know, serious car people at heart. Mark more so than I am, and we both love Mopars. So it was, you know, we had that connection. Speaking of the devil, here it is right here.
What's up, dog? Sorry, you doing your interview, man?
Good to see you, dude.
What's up, bro?
What's happening? You look different.
I'm wearing a hat. Don't usually wear one. What's up, man?
Something else though. You look.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I was gonna say you look taller.
What, these?
And who's this on your shirt there?
That's me.
It is?
Yeah. It's a handful of guys in the world. Yeah.
It's humble.
Yeah.
Wearing a t-shirt with your own quote on it. I gotta try that, man.
Nice tan.
It's good. Thanks, man.
Yeah. What's up, dog?
Not much, dude. It's good to see you.
Chilling?
Yeah, just
That's what we call it, kind of chilling out.
You just kick it just a little.
Oh, my God.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll kick
What's up,
it like
man?
that.
You want it like that?
That's how you
want it like that?
Like that. Hey, you just
That's
stepped
how
on
we
my,
do it.
You just stepped on my toe.
I'm
dude.
sorry, man.
Really
It's
not cool.
Well, they're
Yeah.
kind of.
And is that like a wrap thing, leaving the sticker on the bill there? Is that's a move too?
Disrespectful. Yeah. Have fun in California.
Now that Ryan and I got the wing all installed on our 70 Superbird, it looks amazing. I just saw the 68 GTX of Chris Jacobs actually coming to the shop, so I can't wait to dig into that, start getting that tore down, and get that old engine out of there.
Got my crack shot team here. We're getting ready to disassemble Chris Jacobs' car. That's the 68 GTX in preparation for the 392 crate engine that we're putting in, and eventually here in the next few weeks, having this ready to go down to SEMA. So I got Alyssa with me. Dave.
You're welcome.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, couldn't do it without her.
Coming up, Dave continues to finish the assembly on our Tribute Superbird, and the ghouls begin the disassembly of the engine compartment to fast-track its restoration.
So for me, if I take a 1970 Cuda just real quickly here, and let's compare it to a 1970 Dodge Challenger. Now up on the dash, you'll see the word Challenger written in script on the Challenger cars, regardless of what engine or transmission, whether it's a Hemi car or a 6-cylinder, it'll say Challenger up there. Your Plymouth Barracuda, it'll also say Barracuda up there, even if it was a rare Hemi Cuda model, which by the way is a model on its own, or if it was a 446 barrel or a 340 or a slant 6, it would still just say the word Barracuda. The changes begin to happen between the two cars when you start talking about the overall footprint of it. So the Plymouth Barracuda, for example, again, we're talking 70 to 74, is a 102-inch wheelbase. The Challenger, which setting next to it look very similar, is actually a 104-inch wheelbase. Now where they get that wheelbase difference is in the rear stepwell. If you were sitting in the back seat of the car and your feet were on the ground, those two pans in there are called the stepwells. The Challenger is actually 2 inches longer than the Barracuda, and that's what gives it the extra 2 inches of wheelbase. So besides the fact that the Challenger is 2 inches longer in wheelbase, the exterior of the car, the styling cues on it, the Challenger I think is more of an executive, more of a rich look to it, because one reason it has the hip line or the style line down the side that's so pronounced. It kind of breaks the top and the bottom of the car up, whereas on the Cuda it's more of a slab side. That's what we called it as kids. It's really flat looking, and that flat, sleek design to me makes it look like it's moving when it's just sitting still. Now both cars in 70 and 71 have the flat, recessed looking side marker lights, whether it's the chrome one on the Challenger or whether it's the elongated painted one on the Barracuda. Again, that's a great styling cue for both cars. Unfortunately, they lost that in 72 and went to a surface-mounted side marker light. Compare the taillights on a 70 Challenger. Again, more of a rich kind of highbrow, if you will, look to them. They're very long, they're sleek, they go from side to side, they have the cool reverse light right in the middle. But again, doesn't really scream muscle to me. Go to the Cuda's taillights, unbelievable. If you look at them from the side, if you look at a profile shot, the panel actually looks like it's leaning forward at the top. That whole rake look to the rear body panel and the taillights make it look like it's moving down the freeway when it's sitting still. So go to the grille and the front work on a Challenger and a Cuda. Now they both have the standard power bulge hood. Even though at a glance they look similar, they're very different when you look at them up close. The Challenger has a recessed aluminum grille that's been anodized. The Cuda uses a plastic grille, always has, all the years. Check out the front park lights on a 1970 Cuda. They set up very high. I don't know, I can't articulate the correct words for it other than to say it looks mean and it looks sleek and it looks like it's moving 100 miles an hour when it's parked in the middle of a lot. The grille, the headlights, the park lights, the tail lights, look at the sides of the car, compare the rest of those features and put the two cars side by side, and I think you'll agree that the Cuda definitely looks like more of a version of a muscle car than the Dodge Challenger.
So far, our 340 Cuda has been shipped overseas, and Chris Jacobs' 1968 GTX arrived, needing a new engine due to a fire. With a goal to auction to a charity, Mark and the Ghouls fast-track its restoration to get it down in time for SEMA, only 60 days away. The first step is to remove the engine and restore its compartment.
We're ready right now to drop the drivetrain out of it, not the rear end. We're going to run the original rear end. Once we get that out, then Ron from Magnum Force is going to come up, and we're going to start mocking in the 392 Hemi and the K-frame and all that Magnum Force stuff. So let's rock it out. Rock it down to Electric Avenue, then we'll take it higher.
No, it's just another day. I mean, I love working with my dad so much, so like always, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I love Chris Jacobs' 68 GTX, really cool car. Of course, chip FOOSE paint job. I'm a big fan of Overhaulin. I actually loved watching the show and seeing that car. I mean, it actually looks like it's going 90 miles an hour sitting still. Really a cool paint job. It's got the FOOSE fade on it and everything else. So it's really neat to see that. And of course, Chris Jacobs, awesome guy, you know, big Mopar fan. You know, it's so great having him in the shop and sharing car stories with him and stuff. So it's really super cool to have his car in here. I can't wait to dig into it.
Did you want to do the shock nuts now, or you want to do them
before we raise it up? Yeah,
just because we're here?
I got it on that electric ratchet on there. Should be a 9/16.
It's kind of the opposite that we usually do in here.
Yeah. Yeah, I got
Alyssa, take the nuts off the shocks.
What are you doing?
I got most of that. I could probably blow these wheels off here.
No, I was
swear
just
to
explaining to the audience
Not
what a
today.
shock is.
No, you weren't.
Okay, you see this doohickey here?
Yeah, I see that doohickey.
Take that doohickey nut off of there.
These awesome FOOSE wheels here, huh? They're kind of neat though.
Oh no, they're totally cool.
On them.
I love that.
I love 5 spokes anyway.
That looks...
They're just nostalgic looking. You know?
Oh, he's already got bare brakes on it. Big brakes.
See what's cool is he's got factory spindles, so those will go right on Ron's.
On the Magnum Force stuff.
Exactly.
Well, that'll make an easy task
Yeah, that'll
out of
make it nice so we can utilize his brakes and everything. So yeah, it's gonna be so cool being in SEMA with his car.
That is going to be really cool. Having Chris Jacobs present it too. That's awesome.
Really cool, huh?
Really cool, because Overhaulin was my favorite car show.
I know.
So the fact that this car came from there, that's awesome.
How cool is that? I know. You want to take off that top one on the line that's got the spring on it?
Yep. Okay.
You got to kind of feed it in there.
Got it.
Looking good.
Get out of here.
I'm just
No.
I'm walking here.
You want to finish?
What are you doing? No, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. You're learning how to do a brake wind. Is it broke loose already? So all you got to do is get it to a point where you can do it by hand.
Hello.
See, there you go. Now, flism plasm, flizoo. Beautiful. Pull it up out. There you go.
Okay.
Looking good. Alyssa learning how to R&I some stuff on a car.
Fake affirmation.
Hi, cheers.
Might as well make myself comfortable if I'm gonna be watching the whole time. Let's see how annoying I can be. Yeah, where are you going?
Alyssa, are you okay on the chair?
Yeah.
Okay,
following you.
Come up. A little more. A little more. Right there.
Okay. So K-member bolts and we're done?
And we're done.
You got your impact?
Yep.
Oh, great.
Seems tight. All right, what we're gonna do is just kind of watch everything and see how it goes, you know? Yep, it should. All right, hold up.
By the way, did you dookie?
No, that was fun. It's probably your upper lip.
Okay, straight down.
Now that we have the drivetrain on the ground, once we get a couple pieces off under the hood, we'll be able to send it down to the body shop. There's a patch that needs to go in the left apron. There's a few holes that need to be welded up. It needs to be stripped down to the bare metal, primered, painted in some kind of a base so that his flame guy can come up and start working on his realistic flames.
So right now I'm going to head in the reference room and give Mike LaValle a call, figure out exactly when the good time for him to come do his graphics. Also, how does he want it prepped? We don't do a lot of that here, so it's good to hear from him how he wants the car set up, so when he comes in, he can just go right to work.
Hello, this is Mike.
Hey Mike, this is Will down here at Graveyard Cars.
Hey, what's going on, Muff?
Working away, how are you?
Good, same thing.
Have you talked with Chris about his GTX?
No, he messaged me and said he was going to get a hold of me this weekend and never did.
Okay. Do you know how you want it prepped out, or you want?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to, you know what color it's going to be? Black?
I have no clue. The car is at two-tone, and then the engine compartment originally was silver.
Okay.
So, I mean, I can make it black, or?
No, whatever silver works fine, too.
He's going to do a big Phoenix kind of on fire, you know, kind of like the rebirth of his car. So, you know, it makes sense. Mike's a great artist, so I'm really excited for him to get down here and get to work on it. Cool, so then I'll just double check with Chris that he wants it to go silver, and then we'll go ahead and get the whole thing painted and then wet sand it out, and then that way you can just come in and go to work.
That would work for me. I could leave on a Friday, and paint on a Saturday, come back on Sunday.
Okay, cool.
Just between you and me painters, okay? Black or silver is fine with me, doesn't matter.
Okay. Nobody wants to have to come in and work on a weekend, but if it helps get the job done quicker, get the car off to SEMA, and it helps us coordinate with another artist, then I have no problems at all coming in on a weekend. I'll get it done for you.
All right, boss, thanks.
Thank you. Bye. Weekends.
In 1967, Dodge introduced the famous RT. It was to represent the performance version of their cars. They still use it today. True or false? RT stands for rally type. Stay tuned after the break and I'll give you the answer. So what did the RT stand for on the Dodge products? Was it rally type? If you answered false, you're correct. The RT actually stood for road and track. Kind of a cool little bit of information. Now, if you did say rally type, I would have to say you can no longer watch my television show because that is a model of a Chevrolet Camaro. And we don't talk about Chevrolet Camaros here at Graveyard Cars, so just cut on that and make it look like I'm cool. So right now, I am just finishing a text with Alyssa. I let her know that the order is in from AMD on the 71 Challenger. This is John Buck's car. And that she needs to get going on getting the parts checked in. It's very, very important. It's kind of fun being able to text with her back and forth, because it used to be that she would, it's a shame. It used to be that she would take forever, right? I sent her a text and I never hear back. Now she's just right back on it and it's like, yes, sir, is there anything else you need, sir? It's like, finally she's treating me like a boss, right? So it's respect. It's one of those things that it's not given out, you earn it, all right? So. With age comes wisdom.
I had Will come over to kind of look at the engine compartment to see what else he needed to remove from there, because some of the stuff I'd like to leave, because the less stuff I got to take off, the better. But he wants me to go ahead and remove the master cylinder, the wiper motor, and the proportioning valve and the lines and everything. So there he's got a little bit more room to work.
Okay, so this I want to pop out of here like so. This will take it all off in one unit, which should be great.
But I was actually taking the parts off, I noticed just excessive holes and everything in the firewall. So whoever had this car probably had a custom electronic ignition, maybe an alarm system, all these things. So in the aprons and in the firewalls, there are just tons of holes. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through there and mark all those and get George to weld all those up for me.
So now I just work on getting this wiper motor out of here. Taking them out's the easy part. It's putting the dang thing back in. So you can always tell that that thing's got the nice factory nut on there because they're always anodized red. So that's kind of cool.
I'm getting ready to start work on Jacobs GTX. When they pulled the engine out, on the inner fender, there was a nasty patch in there. So I'm gonna pull the whole entire inner fender out and put a brand new one in. So I figure I'll drill out the spot welds on the old inner fender and slap the new one in there and hopefully have it back to Will in a couple hours.
Once we got the drivetrain out of it, we got it over there, started to strip out the paint, and actually, look at the damage. There were some little rust repairs that we did, not a big deal, but you don't want to paint over anything that's even questionable. So I found it was just safest. I just stripped the whole thing down to bare metal, primered it, painted it black, wet sanded it down. So that way when Mike comes in, he's got a nice surface to paint on top of the fact that I prepped it myself, so I know it's going to be good 20 years from now. I don't need to have Mark come out and inspect this. It's pretty cut and dry what needs to be done. It's pretty simple. The paint blistered. I have to peel all that back, get a nice coat of primer on it. Once that primer's done, I'll be able to go over it with the single stage black. So there's really nothing for him to look at or even look over on the whole job, actually.
All right, working on our dash on our 1970 Superbird tribute car. I already got kind of a little bit of a jump on it. As you can see, I actually already have the glove box door on here. I'm gonna go ahead and start working on my dash vents up here.
We were so fortunate that this dash was in such amazing condition that we didn't even have to send it off to Instrument Specialties. We were able to get a few parts that we needed and get it all repainted, get it all put back together ourselves. Now that I got all the dash all built out, all the cables installed, the wiring's all ready to go, I'm gonna go in the body shop, grab George McGeorge, and give me a hand putting it in. It's been such a productive week on the 70 Superbird car. I mean, we've just been flying along. I was able to get the dash installed, all the quarter glass installed, all the regulators and everything in those doors. Actually worked around, got the wing on, Wing looks amazing, and then built out the whole back end of the car. I mean, right now it just looks like a Superbird. I feel so relieved. It's such a productive week. It doesn't happen all the time, so whenever I get it, I love it and I'll take it.
Well, we had a great week at Graveyard Carz, I would say. Another stellar week. Our Superbird got
the glass put in it, quarter glass.
and some other stuff. I got the wing put on it.
Wing, dash, I don't know.
Dash got put in
It's
it.
not my
Dave
department.
finished building out the dash and got it installed. He doesn't even look and see what goes on around here. All you care is about your little world.
Yeah.
Speaking of your little world, he did okay down in the body shop.
I do okay every week.
By Curious George, got the left apron replaced on Mr. Chris Jacobs 1968 GTX. And then you, I noticed, hustled, which we needed to this week, and got the engine compartment all prepped out.
Just like every other week.
Yeah, just another day in the neighborhood, right?
Yes.
Let's talk more about that Superbird. Gonna be a cool car?
It'll be a very cool car.
You darn right it is. It's coming together nicely. Got the bumpers on it, glass in it. Things are.
We did a lot of pre-fitting on that car, so.
There was a lot of pre-fitting, and a lot of it had to do with the modifications we had to make for the spoiler and for the front, for the nose cone. But Ryan, who's not with us any longer, such a phenomenal body man. Yep. I'm really glad that he was there along that. I got to give him props because it was really a phenomenal
It's a lot
job.
of work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We also happened to get a lot of work done in our 1968 Plymouth GTX belonging to one
Jacobs.
Chris, too tall for his own good Jacobs.
He's not even that tall.
He's pretty damn tall. Yeah, it's freaky stuff.
Well, I guess when you're 5'8", everybody's tall.
Yeah, what are you? I would
like
love
5'9".
Oh yeah, that's all the difference. 1 inch.
I bet it is.
But around your house,
See?
I bet
Start
it is.
all over.
Yeah, why don't you start over? So with Jacob's car moving along quickly, some of that stress is releasing a little bit. We're not quite as under the gun as we were, but we still got a handful of stuff. I mean, besides the 35 cars we have in progress.
Right.
My little dad wagon, John Buck's Hellcat. You know, is there anything else we could possibly add to this list?
Oh, I'm sure there's more.
My cousin Vinny.
We still got like 50 more cars on top
Remember
of
the
that.
scene in that? Yeah. When Marissa Tomei's wearing that bodysuit out front.
We also got
Bob biological clock.
We got rid of Bob Moore's car. We loaded that up. That's overseas now.
Yes, our 1970 Cuda is bye-bye, no longer. The warranty is now over, my friend. We do not warranty things in Switzerland, so glad it's gone. Adios.
What if he's a fan of the show?
He's a fan of the show. He's a good guy. The guy that bought it, he sent us some Switzerland handmade amazing chocolates. Absolute. Did you have any of those?
No, but I bet you did.
Yeah, I did. What about it?
I would just say that.
I can outrun you, jump you, I can out-ski you, I can out-basketball you.
Let's not get too crazy.
Okay, well, I could outrun you. I could do more push-ups.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's what we broke it down to.
So now we're ready to move on to the next stage, which is getting the engine compartment painted on Chris Jacobs' car so that his buddy, is it Mike? Mike Lavelle's going to come out and do some... Lavalle, sorry. I apologize. I may have said it wrong before.
That's okay.
Mr. Lavalle is going to come out and do some beautiful airbrush work underneath the hood.
Yep.
Then we can put our 392 Mopar crate engine in there. We're building a 727 torque flight for it, by the way. Yeah, tech stuff.
Anyways.
Kind of lost him on that.
It'll all bolt right back in there.
Yeah,
It'll be good to go.
You had me at chocolate.
Producer, can you use any of this?
Cut.